this course on 3 must-have subscription metrics by Rocket CPE, where CPE doesn't suck. We're excited to give you a 10-minute overview of these finance metrics commonly used to evaluate subscription companies, and also explain why these metrics are critical to the success of any subscription-based revenue model. So let's hop right in. Today we're going to be using a made-up company called Sonar Co., a company that sells sonar technology to the bad guys of Gotham City. So first, let's talk about bookings. Now, bookings represent the commitment of a customer to spend money with your company. Commitment is the key. Bookings includes all committed deals signed during that period, with different durations and different prices. Investors really look to bookings at all stages, but a lot of emphasis is placed on bookings early in the life of a subscription company because it shows expected future revenue and the ability to close deals. So let's look at a couple examples of bookings with the January deals at Sonar Company. Now, to walk through this example, I've got the signing date, the billing start date, which is 30 days after the signing date, because in this example, we give them 30 days to get set up and implemented and so on. The customer, the order type, months under contract, the change in MRR, and finally the bookings calculation. Our first example is the Joker. He's our first customer because, well, you've got to be a little bit crazy to be the first customer, right? So, okay, the Joker signs up on January 7th for a 12-month plan at $1,000 per month. Our bookings for the Joker would be $12,000, simply the 12-month commitment times the $1,000 per month. Now, you may have scenarios where you sell one-time fees such as setup and implementation or training or whatever, and bookings includes those one-time fees, but I'm not going to add those into our Sonar Co. example. The important thing is to remember that bookings represents the commitment of a customer to spend money with your company. So not to be outdone by the Joker, our next customer is Penguin. He signs up for an 11-month plan at $150 per month with the first month free. Our bookings for Penguin would be $1,650. It's 11 times 150. So that's the total commitment. Now it's important to track logos and dollars here. Logo bookings is essentially a count of each unique customer. You'll be asked to provide both so that your company and investors alike can get a sense of the deal size, the close rates, and so on. Now you might wonder, when do bookings happen with free trials? Harkening back to our definition, booking represents the commitment of a customer to spend money with your company. A free trial is not a commitment in most cases, so it is not bookings until the trial is over and a commitment is made. Next, let's talk about monthly recurring revenue and committed monthly recurring revenue. Yes, there is a difference. It's nuanced, but very important. So MRR is the amount of recurring revenue that you recognized in the prior month. This is subscription revenue that you expect to earn month over month. Fairly straightforward, right? Now, CMRR harkens back to our bookings definition. It's future expected MRR. Basically, CMRR is contracted MRR plus new MRR bookings minus cancellations and downgrades. Note that one-time fees are not included in any of these calculations. Now I want to show you a roll forward for CMRR and MRR based on the Sonar Co data that we went through earlier. Now I added data for a few more months, and I'm not going to go into the details on that, but it is in that spreadsheet. The roll forward basically tells you what is going into the proverbial SaaS bucket of recurring revenue and what is leaking out of that bucket. You start with beginning CMRR, You add new CMRR, also known as bookings minus any one-time fees. You add any upsells, also known as upgrades, re-ups, and so on. And then you take out the downsell, CMRR, or downgrades, and churn. Obviously, the first two are adding to the bucket, making the bucket fuller, with the latter two leaking out of the bucket. As you can see, these roll forwards are extremely valuable in showing the performance of all the key aspects of Sonar Co. I can see that sales declined in February, but jumped way up in March. I can see that we've already got a few upsells or upgrades, whatever you want to call them, in the first few months. Kudos to the client success team. And I can see the leak starting in April, right? The churn and downsells. Remember, we want to fill the bucket as much as possible. So what is churn? Churn is the third of our three must-have subscription metrics. Churn is when a customer cancels their subscription. Churn is the thorn in every company's side, but it is a critical metric to watch for a SaaS company or a subscription company of any sort. You have to get a return on all the money you've spent in developing your product, selling your product, and supporting your product. If a customer leaves before you get that return, you're in bad shape. So let's look at what happened with Sonar Co. The first customer to cancel is, of course, Two-Face. How predictable, right? So Two-Face requests to cancel on March 20th, but the policy for Sonar Co. is that there are no refunds. So the effective date is after the service period that Two-Face has already paid. So he's paid up through 4/16. Jumping back to our CMRR roll forward, you'll see that I have included the churn in CMRR in the month of March, with churn hitting MRR on the effective date. This is the way I like to show it because it delineates the two. You can change it to April for CMRR if you want, go off the effective date. But the important thing is to set a policy and stick to it. As an aside, it's important for your SaaS company to track the request date the moment a request comes into your company, because you'll be asked what the CS, the client success save ratio is. How well does your retention team actually save customers that request to cancel? You may hear the terms net churn and net revenue retention. CMRR roll forward has all that data for you. Net churn is simply the upsells, downsells, and churn. Net revenue retention is new CMRR all the way down through all the other things through churn. Net negative churn is the holy grail for a SaaS company. As in most businesses, retaining and or expanding on your current customer base is much more efficient than landing new business. And net negative churn indicates that you're expanding your revenue using existing customers. Now, net revenue retention, at a minimum, you want to make sure that your net revenue retention is positive. If it's negative, you really need to take a good look at your bucket, right? Because there's a serious leak problem. Well, that does it today for the 3 must-have subscription metrics. Again, those must-have subscription metrics are bookings, CMRR, and churn. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and come back again soon.